Hi, this is Mo, and who knew that Babe Ruth was the most famous candy bar of serial killers?
And I'm TJ, the podcaster who hardly ever misses. A party, that is.
And this is...
It's still new to us, damn it!
Welcome to the studio, us, damn it. I'm Mo, he's TJ, he just said, and we're here to watch every movie ever made to be invited to parties.
That's right.
Yes.
We don't miss them.
We don't.
Yeah, so it's been a while since we last checked in, party people.
Yeah.
What's new with you?
Nothing much. Nothing really special. Watched a bunch of movies, you know.
Yeah?
Read some books.
Nice.
Books and stuff like that. But we'll say that for a little bit, because we haven't entered
Oh,
Banter
yes,
Time.
that's right. We have not officially entered
Banter time. Banter time. Banter time. Banter time. Banter time.
Enough.
I was going to say that. Okay.
I know. I was waiting. I could see you were getting antsy
Yeah, I
to
know.
say it, and I said, nope, I'm going to cut him off.
Yes, welcome to Banter Time, the favorite part of the show where we banter for about 10 to 15 minutes about stuff that doesn't really matter. It has no connection to this movie at all.
You don't care.
No.
You're
don't.
going to listen anyway.
Yeah, too goddamn bad. Listen to a shit, okay?
You're going to listen to another movie review podcast?
Yeah, it's not like there's any more out there.
You idiots.
Yeah.
All right, so what have you been watching?
Watching a lot of stuff. I was sick recently, so I had a bunch of time to watch movies.
The bright side. That's the silver lining to being
Yes.
sick.
I saw The Iron Claw
Oh, good.
in
How was
theaters.
that?
It was sad.
Devastating, I'm sure.
Devastating, yes.
Yeah.
They had to cut the movie. They had to cut one of the brothers out of the movie because it would be too insane to think that.
Oh.
Yeah, because
Okay.
one drowned in a puddle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be just like the insanity of like that family curse.
I don't believe in curses usually, but yeah, that family
It's bad, man.
was cursed.
Yeah. Also, they had an overbearing father who pressured him to. Well, maybe not pressured him to go. Well, some he pressured him to go into wrestling, and it just caused depression and spiraled deeper and deeper.
Imagine like someone wanted to be like a CPA or something. He was like,
One of-
"No, you're gonna put those trunks on. Damn it, you're
Yeah.
gonna lace up those boots."
But one wanted to be a musician. Mm-hmm. Yeah, mostly all of them wanted to be wrestlers, except for one, mostly. But,
Okay.
yeah.
Is MJF actually in the movie, or did they cut
He
his
is.
part?
He's in like a small sliver of the movie.
They
Like a
cut.
small-
Okay, so he doesn't.
He has
speak
no
or
speaking
anything?
role,
Okay.
anything like that. You see him a little bit, and then that's it.
So is he in the Screen Actors Guild now, or no?
Yeah, I think so.
How does that work? Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, good.
Yes. Yeah. I watched Iron Claw. I watched a movie called Bell Book Candle, featuring my favorite actor of
yeah.
all time, James Stewart. Mm-hmm. Oh, Martha.
Yeah, actually, a coworker of mine was just telling me about that movie not that long ago.
Yeah.
She says that she likes it a lot. I never heard of it before until she mentioned it.
It's really cool.
But I too like Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, Martha.
There's nothing more fun than speaking in a Jimmy Stewart
Yeah. Oh,
voice.
fuck, Martha. Oh, God. Martha. Let's see. I watched it's a movie called A Cat from Outer Space, which was really fun.
A Cat from Outer Space?
A Cat from Outer Space.
Oh, is this an animated picture?
No, it's an old Disney film from like 1978.
Oh, it's one of their awkward live action?
Yeah.
Oh, outstanding.
It's actually really good.
Was it really?
Yeah, it's
Cool.
actually really funny. I miss they had smoking and drinking beer back then in movies, and they had them in Disney movies. They don't have
Yeah.
them now. I wish they brought it back.
Yeah, I do too, because, I mean, you can say what you will about the health effects. Smoking makes you look so cool.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
The Surgeon General is advising me to walk that statement back.
Yes.
Does not make you look cool.
Yeah. I watched That Dawn Cat from 1968.
I've heard of that one.
That
so
was
they had
fun.
2 live-action cat-based movies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, both like 10 years apart almost.
And like Oliver and Company was less than a decade away.
Yeah.
They like cats.
Both films have Roddy McDowall in them, which is weird.
I like Roddy McDowall.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else I watched? I watched a short film, animated. Not really a short film, like a animated short called "The Bear That Wasn't," which is by Chuck Jones. I don't know when he passed away, maybe 1980 something, but I don't think this was his last feature into cartoon making. It's about a bear that wakes up one day in hibernation and is surrounded by a factory, and people are convinced that he's not a bear, just a man in a fursuit. So they make him work on the assembly line, stuff like that. Yeah,
Outstanding.
yeah. Actually, that's really good, definitely. So that's it for that. I'm watching a lot of Frasier lately.
Nice.
So yeah, that's true.
The reboot or the original?
Original.
That's what I figured.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Mhm.
Good. Good.
Yeah, not a lot of TV shows mostly, but yeah, some movies and stuff like that. Reading, I've been reading a lot of books. I got Mouse.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm reading that. That's really good. I'm reading a book called Bad Monkey. It's a detective tale about a man whose arm got washed up on shore in Florida, and a former detective who has now been forced into a health department position is trying to solve the case.
Sounds like someone who should be trying to solve the case.
Yeah, it's actually really good. I like it.
Good.
I'm reading another book by Kevin Wilson. That's really good. Kevin Wilson, if you don't know, is a really great writer. You should check out his books.
Speaking of Wilson, while I look this up, rest in peace to Melinda Wilson, who passed away last night. Today is the 31st of January, 2024, and Melinda Wilson, the wife of Beach Boys' Brian Wilson, passed away last night. People who've been with us throughout the whole show will remember that she was played by Elizabeth Banks in the movie Love and Mercy that we covered in season 2.
I think so, yeah.
2 or 3 anyway. Okay, so, but rest in peace to her.
Yeah.
And Brian's message about it on Instagram is beautiful. Go give it a look.
Mm-hmm.
But Kevin Wilson, it looks like the top books that are found when you search his name is Nothing to See Here.
I've read that one. That's good. That's about exploding children.
That is, okay, I was about to ask you, because the cover of it is literally, looks like a child. You can see someone wearing shorts and shoes, and they look childish, and their torso up is on fire.
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to need some explanation for me, so go on.
Yeah, I think the main thing is okay, so it's about these 2 girls. They went to private school together. One got kicked out, one didn't. And then years later, one of the girls calls, and they meet up, and it turns out the girl who didn't get kicked out, her children, they just explode. Her stepchildren, they just explode. They don't know why. I guess it's just some hereditary trait. So now she's been hired to watch these children while they try to take care of the situation.
That sounds really good, actually.
Yeah, it's really good.
Nice.
His other book, Now Is Not a Time to Panic, is really good. That one's about a boy and a girl who fall in love during the summertime. I forget which year, 1998 or something like that. And they decided to make this poster with this saying on it. It became and they started posting it all over town. It becomes a very famous saying, like one of those sayings that not just famous in their town, like famous all over America and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it causes a whole bunch of problems. Like somebody has died because of it, and it's just a huge new thing. And then it tells the story of how they made it, and then the aftermath of that, years later down the line.
All right, that sounds interesting as well.
Yeah, I'm reading The Perfect Little World right now. That one's about a mother who decides to join an experiment where I think it's called group raising or something, where instead of just the mom raise a child, it's a whole group of people raise each other's children like a family.
It takes a village, they say.
Takes a village, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm reading that right now, so that's interesting, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I still got a lot of books I got to read.
Nice.
Yeah, I got the Donald Duck comic strip collection.
Oh, how's that?
That's awesome.
Cool.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, that is nice.
I always want to read the Carl Banks stuff because, he's so famous in the comic strip world. Because I guess he inspired the guy who made Astro Boy. Mm-hmm. He was the most inspired by Carl Banks instead of like Spider-Man or stuff like that. He read the Donald Duck comics all the time. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, so that's all the books I'm reading and stuff like that.
Did they give the author of the Donald Duck strip
They gave him credit. They gave him credit.
They gave him credit, and they gave him he was able to kind of take his own liberties.
I guess so. I'm guessing. Okay, so this is mostly it. So back then, everything was written by Walt Disney because Walt Disney wanted everyone to believe he wrote all this stuff. I don't know why exactly.
It's the same as Bob Kane with Batman.
Yeah.
He did very little of the actual creation of the character, but took all the credit.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, they thought, I don't know, he's a magic man or some shit like that. I don't know. But
branding. He made a brand for himself.
Yeah. So then, millions of people would read these Donald Duck comics because in the 1940s and 50s, they were huge. They were one of the most popular comics in America and the world. So they always wondered, who wrote these comics? Because people thought, oh, no, Walt Disney. No, it was actually a man. His name's Carl Barks, I believe his name is. He became a very famous cartoonist in the 1970s and 80s when they found out that, yes, it was him who wrote him. He's been praised in comics, and there's been probably documentaries written about him and books written about him. Yeah, it just changed a lot for the medium of comics itself. And, without him, some people, maybe we won't have manga today, because the man who not started manga, but one of the forefathers of manga, the man who made Astro Boy, people call him the Walt Disney of manga, without the inspiration from his comics, they wouldn't be here today. So
That's incredible.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd never even known that so many of their properties, comic-wise, were basically written by him.
yeah.
Holy crap! I'm reading about him now. That's interesting.
Yeah, you can pick some of them up in collections right now.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, that's cool. So yeah,
Very good.
But the comic strips was not written by Carl Barks. Carl Barks wrote the comics, the actual comics.
Oh,
themselves.
gotcha. Okay.
Yes, I believe it's written by somebody else who wrote the comic strips.
These are actual. Yeah, you're talking about actual paperback comics.
Yeah, you know,
Gotcha,
like that you
that
see
you
on the
find
newspapers.
that-
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
okay.
He did not write those. He wrote, the actual.
Correct,
He wrote like
correct.
the. He created Uncle Scrooge,
Yes.
Gizmo Duck, all those
Scrooge
guys.
McDuck.
I don't know about
yeah.
Gizmo Duck, but he created like Uncle Scrooge and all that stuff and all the like.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Huh, very nice.
Yeah.
Well,
so that's
good.
cool.
The world of literature was richer for having him.
Yep, definitely.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I think that's mostly.
Oh, you're up to a lot. I love to hear it.
Yeah, definitely. So that's mostly it for me. What about you, TJ? Are you watching anything interesting? Reading anything interesting?
Well, a little bit. Well, a lot. First of all, has changed since the last time I saw you. CM Punk returned to the WWE ring
Yeah.
and is already on hiatus.
Really?
Didn't he tear his tricep?
Oh, he did? I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
he's out for a little bit.
I did not know
unless it's
that.
a work. He came out on Raw the next day in a sling and said he was crying and he said saying he's gonna miss.
Didn't he get
WrestleMania.
attacked?
Not at the Rumble, no.
I thought of all he got attacked by
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if he got attacked. I didn't watch it. I just read the results. I think Drew McIntyre.
maybe that was to cover up the injury and stuff
I
like
think
that.
so.
Yeah.
And so as of now, unless it is a work, he will not be at WrestleMania, sadly. So which prompted Seth Rollins to tell Cody Rhodes he should forget Roman Reigns and fight him instead for the championship. So that happened.
Yeah.
Since the last time as well that we spoke to you, the Lions' miracle season ended in a gut punch.
Yeah. That fucking sucks.
Man, that hurt. That hurt like it's nothing else,
Yeah.
man.
I wasn't like gut punch mad. Like I wasn't like so mad I was gonna punch a hole in the wall. I was just disappointed.
Oh, of course not. No, and it was a successful season.
Yeah,
No question.
It's what we
I don't
always
think anybody
wanted,
saw
you know.
that.
So
I know.
we always ask for like, hey, we just want one winning season. We don't even have to go to the Super Bowl. Just like,
I
win a
mean,
playoff game.
I do think the goal should be Super Bowl or bust within the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But they have a young core.
Our OC
and
is back.
Our OC is a miracle work. I know, and he wants to be a part of the team. We'd
Yeah.
love to see that. No, I think that the season was still a rousing success. The loss was entirely self-inflicted, and I think they'll learn from it. These
Yeah.
teams learn from all their mistakes
That's true, yeah.
so far, and I expect them to do the same. And finally, in local sports, the Pistons have 2 more wins.
Hooray!
Yeah, since
I wish we didn't win on Sunday. I think the Pistons took our luck.
I agree, because the last time the Pistons won was the day of the Dallas game, the Cowboys game.
Yeah.
That the Lions got screwed on.
Damn it, Pistons.
Goddamn Pistons.
Stop winning. Okay?
Seriously.
Jesus.
Jeez. It's the only team that could actively try to tank the rest of the season, and then they'd probably win. They'd probably win double digits.
Yeah,
You
and
think they'll make double digits? I don't.
No. Let's see. They beat the best team in the West.
But they did. They
They're
did.
playing the Cavs right now.
You know, actually, now I think about it, maybe they will, because teams are just treating them as load management night. I would have to
They can't
imagine.
do that anymore. So yeah.
Oh, they took that.
All stars must play unless injured.
Okay.
And stars count as all stars, or you've been on the all NBA team.
Oh shit! I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that.
So yeah, unless you're like really injured, you can't sit out.
To be honest with you, even if that was still a rule, I'm not confident the Pistons could beat their B squad.
Yeah,
You know, those are the guys that are fighting for a place in the association, and
yeah.
I could see them showing out against our team. But enough about our local sports. Recent watches, not nearly as much as you, sadly. I'm 2 seasons through Taxi, enjoying
Ooh.
it.
I
Except
watched the Latkes Cookies episode.
I still have not gotten to that one.
Oh, really?
I perpetually have the theme song stuck in my head, though, and I love it and hate it. But it's a good show so far. I'm fully in the meat of it, where Reverend Jim is a main character.
That's good.
And Christopher Lloyd. I mean, what a great cast looking back.
Christopher Lloyd,
Tony
Judd
Danza,
Hirsch,
Judd Hirsch,
the guy who played
Kaufman,
Kaufman,
Danny frickin' DeVito,
Danny DeVito,
Yeah.
Mary Lou Retton, not Mary Lou
Lou
Retton,
Henner. Yeah.
Mary Lou Henner, yeah. You know she has that disease where you can memorize everything.
My coworker was telling me about that. Yeah. She's like I don't know what it's called, but yeah, like
She has like
can remember-
photographic memory. Yeah.
She can remember like any date or something.
Yeah.
Something that happened on. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But no, what a heck of an ensemble.
That
cast
one
it
guy,
is.
Jeff Conway, who was in Greece.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a hell of a cast. and a fun show.
I'm just waiting till you get Tony Clifton. Just can't wait.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. I am so amused by the fact that he created an entirely different person, and that the general populace thought that they didn't realize that they were the same people for the most part.
That's great.
That is outstanding.
I was watching a video about Andy Kaufman actually, and people would like, how comedians would say like he was not funny at all, but he would do the weirdest stuff ever, and it'd be amazing.
He very famously said that he wasn't a comedian.
Yeah.
He was an entertainer. That's
Yeah.
what he said.
He would just do the weirdest shit you've ever seen and be like, yeah.
Oh, and he's one of a kind.
Yeah.
I actually wish that all the death hoax rumors were true.
What if he just pops up one day?
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
That'd be an incredibly Andy Kaufman thing to do. I don't think it's true, but you can always hope, I suppose. But that's fun. I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey the other night for the first time in probably a decade.
I tried to watch that, and my sister was like, "What is this?" Because in the very beginning, it's like monkeys and shit like that. So I was like, "What is this?" I was like, "It's 2001: A Space Odyssey."
I remember watching it in high school and just thinking, like, "What the hell is this about?"
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the appropriate response the first time, because the older I get, the more I realize it's not really a movie that's supposed to, it's not like a plot-driven movie. It's really just a work of art. And it is beautiful. It's a beautiful movie in a lot of ways. And the Blu-ray that I recently picked up from the Stanley Kubrick collection, it looks spectacular on Blu-ray. I mean, it's amazing. That movie looks better than some movies from today.
Damn.
It's incredible.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I watched that. Next, I'm going to watch Barry Lyndon, because I've never seen that. I've heard that's a beautiful movie, like just looks-wise.
Yeah, he filmed all that in like candlelight and daylight. Yeah.
Fucking candlelight.
Yeah.
He was a pioneer, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And then I actually found myself earlier this week watching the 1978 version of The Big Sleep, starring Robert Mitchum again as Philip Marlowe. This one, they take the character, and instead of I believe it's Los Angeles, the original one takes place in, they move him to contemporary England, which is interesting. And he is commissioned to do the job that he does by Jimmy Stewart. Philip, you got to look into this for me.
So wait, so you got Humphrey Bogart and James Stewart in the film together?
No. I'm talking about The Big Sleep with Robert Mitchum. Humphrey Bogart's in the 40s one. This was the remake from 78.
So Jimmy Stewart was in the 78 one?
Correct.
Wow.
So he plays the old man that hires Marlowe to investigate who's blackmailing him.
Oh, okay.
And, I got to say, after Farewell, My Lovely, I had really high expectations for that one.
Yeah.
It's okay. Mitchum's good. The story's The Big Sleep. It's good. But for some reason, like the rest of the cast just didn't. They just look like uninterested. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre, and it's just not nearly as pulpy.
It could be that Robert Mitchum was just pissed off and drunk all the time. And
it's possible, and the fact that he was playing a character who was meant to be like a 30-year-old, and he was like 70.
Yeah.
But he's a delight in everything I see him in, so
That's
whatever.
cool.
I would compare it to one of my favorite genres of movie, and that is the rainy Sunday afternoon movies.
Yep.
And it's fine for that.
That's cool.
But otherwise, not much.
Yeah.
I haven't been reading too much, sadly. Yeah.
I forgot to mention that I watched the directorial debut of Paul Thomas Anderson, Hot 8.
Oh, sure. How was that?
It was actually really emotional and really good.
Good.
I watched it with my dad. He said, "Wow," that's his review.
That's a 5-star review.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
Salmo Sherry, if I ever heard.
I didn't know what to expect of it. I thought it says Hot 8. It's about Philip Baker Hall.
Yeah.
He meets John C. Reilly at a diner. John C. Reilly's broke. He needs money to pay for his mom's funeral, and so so Philip Baker Hall said, "I'll guide you to get you some money," and so he does, and we kind of follow him on because John C. Reilly is like a mentor. Like Philip Baker Hall is kind of mentor to John C. Reilly, and it turns out there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like why Philip Baker Hall's treating John C. Reilly so nicely, why he's like mentoring him, and then they get in with Gwyneth Paltrow's in the movie, and then there's Gwyneth Paltrow and John C. Reilly fall in love, but then there's a kidnapping, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I don't really want to spoil for anybody who hasn't seen it.
A lot of moving parts. I like it.
Yeah. Samuel Jackson's in it. He plays a casino worker, who's like, you meet him, and it's like, okay, this guy has some bad news to him.
Yeah.
So yeah. So actually, it's really good. Yeah.
All right, well, don't confirm or deny anything because I don't want to spoil anything. But if Philip Baker Hall turns out to be another monster in another Paul Thomas Anderson movie, I'll be really disappointed. Be really disappointed.
I wouldn't say he's like a monster, but he did.
He cannot be a monster at the level that he was in Magnolia.
No, he was not the monster that I know, but he did do something really bad. And
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully he's trying to make amends then with John C. Reilly's character in that movie.
Yeah.
Well, good. You know what I love about you and your dad is you're both just down. You're always down.
My dad's down for anything. He'll just say, "Yeah, I'll watch it."
It's
even,
great.
Even though if he's not the down for it, he'll just say, "Yeah." And
Well,
just
people
watch.
got to keep that open mind, man.
Yeah.
You'll find stuff that you actually like. Mm-hmm. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for him. Well, excellent.
Okay, I think that's enough of our banter time. Banter time. Banter time. Banter time. Banter time. Banter time. Enough. Okay. There we go.
All right.
Okay, so let's get into this movie, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Today's movie is called Targets, released in 1968, directed by Peter Bogdanovich of Paper Moon and At Long Last Love, and written by Peter Bogdanovich of Mask and Texasville.
He did Mask?
Yeah, he did
I didn't know that.
not Jim Carrey's Mask, the Mask
no,
from
with
1985.
Rocky Dennis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rocky Dennis. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't
and
know
the
that.
sequel to the Last Picture Show, Texasville,
Yeah, I knew he did that. Okay.
is probably terrible.
The
I don't
Last
know.
Picture Show or the sequel you're saying?
No, the sequel to
Oh,
Texasville.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
probably bad. It's like there's no reason to make a sequel to
Yeah.
the Last Picture Show. Yeah. Starring Boris Karloff of Frankenstein fame and Bikini Beach. Tim O'Kelly, he didn't really do much. He was in the movie called The Grasshopper and a bunch of other TV shows. Nancy Hisui, sorry if I said that wrong, Hsueh, movie called War Hunt. And Doctor, you gotta be kidding!
I love that.
Yeah. I wish movies would title like that now.
I know. That would be
Not.
awesome.
They're just like, Haze or some
They
shit like
shoot
that.
horses, don't they?
Yeah, they like no.
They should, man.
Yeah.
They used to have fun making movie titles.
Yeah. James Brown, not that one. Yes, sir, that's my baby. And our hearts were young gay.
Wow.
Not young and gay, this young gay.
Young gay.
This young gay.
All
Our
right.
hearts were young gay.
Interesting.
Either that's a typo or that's the actual title of the movie.
Our hearts were young gay.
Yes. Now, if that's the old time interpretation of it, the movie's still called Our Hearts Were Young Happy. Mm-hmm. So that's still a bad title.
Either way, I'm glad for them.
Yeah, me too. Sandy Barron, Seinfeld, and if it's Tuesday, this must be Belgium.
It's Tuesday. This must be
Belgium. Yep.
outstanding.
Yeah, and of course Sandy Barron. You know who he played? He played
Jack Klompus.
Jack Klompus.
The guy that gives Jerry the pen that writes upside down. Do you remember that episode?
No, really.
He very famously gives Jerry the astronaut pen that writes ink upside down.
Yeah.
Because Jerry, makes a comment about, oh, how nice is this? Anytime I'm writing my material while in bed, I have to lean on my shoulder. And so the guy gives it to him and immediately goes around behind Jerry's back complaining about how the kid took his pen. And it becomes this whole big hullabaloo in Jerry's parents' retirement community. It's great. It's a great episode. That's the one where Elaine hurts her back when they go scuba diving, and she's taking muscle relaxers, and at this big benefit that
Oh, that's the Elaine dance?
Stella. And it's not the Elaine dance.
Okay.
But Elaine's in there going, Stella! Because one of the women down there, his name was Stella.
Yeah.
She's just all loose on the pain pills. But yeah, no, Jack Klompus is in a few episodes. He's kind of at the retirement community that the Seinfelds live at. He's Jerry's dad's main nemesis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he complain about? I know Jerry got his dad a car. Was he one of the neighbors that complained about the car?
He's the one that says, must be nice to have that kind of money. That's the best scene. They pull up to the restaurant after the early bird special because Jerry was like, no, 4 o'clock is too early to eat dinner. So they go at 5:30 while all the other old timers are leaving. And Jack Kloppus sees them coming up and saying, you missed the early bird special. Must be nice to have that kind of money. It's so good. But yeah, I thought I recognized him here.
Yeah.
I was glad that was him.
Yep. Okay, yeah, that's everybody who's in the film and who made the film. TJ, let's see what this film's about. TJ, what the hell is this film about?
Yeah, well, Targets tells 2 stories. First, that of aging golden era horror movie icon Byron Orlock, who, disillusioned by the terrors of the real world, abruptly decides to retire from the screen, a decision that upends the marketing plans for his latest movie. And second, that of Bobby Thompson, an insurance agent with an all-American face, a loving and supportive family, and a secretly warped mind and an obsession for firearms. While Orlok is grappling with pressure by his latest director and film studio to continue making films, Bobby succumbs to his homicidal fantasies, which provoke him into killing his wife and mother before unleashing carnage on the unsuspecting general public. His killing spree begins atop an oil storage tank where he fires openly at passing freeway drivers, and it concludes that evening at a drive-in theater wherein Orlok is making a public appearance to promote his new film. During the spree killing, Bobby is ultimately confronted by Orlok, who disarms the young shooter during a moment of disorientation, which was caused by seeing the film star in the flesh and on the big screen simultaneously. Orlok's spontaneous act of heroism provides him an epiphany. While his movies may be more fantastical than frightening, his work provides the general public a brief window of escapism from the horrors of the real world. Meanwhile, Bobby is hauled away by police as he brags that he hardly ever missed. In the end, very little hilarity ensues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say mostly none.
This is a pretty straightforward plot. There's very little plot, frankly.
Exactly,
It's a tale of two stories that meet perfectly in like a Y or a V pattern. You know what I mean? They meet very much just at the end.
Yeah.
And here's what I'm going to start by saying that I found interesting. Anytime we watch one of these movies, I like to watch the trailer first.
Yeah.
Now, I know that in 1968, you only saw trailers, at the movie theater, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a TV spot. I don't know. This was kind of a smaller picture.
Yeah,
I
probably
not
did
very
a TV
mainstream.
spot, yeah.
So it's not like nowadays where people will watch a trailer as it drops on YouTube and they will dissect every scene and they will watch YouTube videos about people dissecting every scene. But I watched the trailer for this movie and not a single mention of Boris Karloff. And to me, in my head, like that was what was built up.
Yeah.
Boris Karloff is the star of this movie.
Yeah.
All it shows is the Bobby side. I believe you catch the slightest glimpse of Karloff from the scene where he's walking up to Bobby at the movie theater.
Yeah.
But that's it. And frankly, it's a dark scene, so you don't even really recognize him. I wouldn't have anyway. So just going off the tenor of the preview, I'm like already nervous. I'm like, oh my God, this movie's just going to be about a spree killer, and that's all.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that does a disservice to the movie because going in with that expectation actually makes the scenes of levity.
I think of the trailer okay, so it's a very small film. This is, I think, Peter Bogdanovich's first film ever. They need to sell it. How do you sell it? Violence. Because back then, violence still sells. So, they decided, okay, let's make it more about the gun angle, about violence, about rampaging and stuff like that. And, okay, so this was based off a real person. His name was Charles Whitman. He was the tower shooter in the University of Texas. He really went, I believe, if I remember the story correctly, he went into a bell tower and just started firing off on people.
Sure.
And, of course, it's Texas, so everybody had guns, so everybody was just shooting back at Charles Whitman. So, yeah, I don't know how that ended exactly, but it was filming, it was about to come out, but then the Martin Luther King got shot, and I think also Robert Kennedy got shot during that time period. So they pushed it out a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but they were still selling the violence afterwards. So I think this came out. When exactly did this come out? August 13th, 1968. And when was Martin Luther King? Oh no, here we go. It was shortly after the release of Martin Luther King and Robert F. Kennedy. So that took place in
Jeez.
Yeah.
It would have been.
It was filmed in 1967, so it's probably going to be released in like early 1968. But then the shootings happened, so they pushed it back to summer of 1968. Not a lot of films, not a lot of like cinema, not theaters it was out to. They didn't probably push it out a lot.
Well, this wasn't really meant to be a mainstream thing, was it?
No, it's more of it's like a B movie, yeah.
Yeah, because I understand what you're saying about selling the violence, but like, to be clear, this movie does not glorify violence at all. It's a hook, perhaps, that draws people in.
Yeah.
But this movie...
Yeah, it's also produced by Roger Corman, so it's going to be like... Roger Corman, he does like boobs, guns.
Right, that is true.
Yes,
that is very true, yes. And I know that Bogdanovich worked for him previously, right?
Yeah, Roger Corman's like the elder statesman of Hollywood. Like, if like way back then, like if you needed a job in Hollywood, he'll give it to you and you'll start your film career off. He did it with Martin Scorsese. He did it for Robert De Niro, Peter Bogdanovich, Ron Howard. Mm-hmm. His first one was Death Race 2000.
Nice.
So you're basically major people actually worked for Roger Corman and got their start in Hollywood.
Sure.
Yeah, but Roger Corman, he's just like sex, drugs, rock and roll. It's gonna be fast. It's gonna be loud. So that's how he marketed it. to everybody.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. But then when you dive into this movie, I think it's a lot deeper than
Yeah,
that.
I was surprised. Like, let's get into it. I was surprised by the beginning of it because I didn't expect that actual movie, like
Yeah.
another movie, to be playing. Like it's medieval horror movie.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect that at all. It was like 15 minutes or 10 minutes of the movie.
Right. It's an actual Boris Karloff movie, right? And
Yeah,
it
it's an
was
actual
called...
one.
Shoot, I should have had this up. I know we have.
It's The Terror. It was called
So
The
it
Terror.
was The Terror. Okay.
It was called The Terror. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was weird because I don't know. When I first saw it, I was like, Castle Freak.
Ha, yeah.
I was like, why are they in a castle? This is a movie about a guy who shoots people.
Right.
So it's
Well,
just
see,
weird.
I immediately, I think, picked up on it because obviously knowing the year, this was shortly after, this was obviously after the golden era of horror movies starring Boris Karloff. But the way the opening credits are done, it drips of that.
Yeah.
That
Hammer
aesthetic.
horror movies. Yeah. stuff like
Hammer,
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I figured that it was just one of the actor's movies because, well, I kind of knew a bit more of the plot going into it. And that turns out to be what they're doing. They're watching his newest movie.
Yeah.
Which, yes, is the real-life version of The Terror, which we'll see again later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he's watching it and deciding, everyone, the executives that are watching and the director, played by Peter Bogdanovich,
Yeah.
are watching the movie enthusiastically and in their heads already marketing and, thinking about what a hit it's going to be.
Yeah, and that's going to be like, okay, wait, this movie's like, you're tired of these movies, but the next movie is going to be great. So they're trying to convince them. But Boris Karloff just like, he gives up. He's like, I can't keep on making these films.
Right.
I'm
Well,
just tired
he's,
of it, so he's just like, I
sick
quit.
of being viewed as corny.
Yeah.
He knows that his movies are considered camp, is what he says. He doesn't think that they scare people anymore. And so in his mind, what's the point? What's
Yeah.
the point of doing them? He feels like he's just kind of typecast himself, right?
Yeah. He became a character instead of becoming an actor.
Exactly. Exactly. And as you know, a lot of actors don't like being typecast typically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Fun fact about The Terror, that movie features Jack Nicholson and Dick Miller.
Oh, if you don't think I was going to bring that up later,
Yeah.
we get a full scene from, and I had to do a double take. I couldn't believe seeing Jack Nicholson
Yeah.
at the door later while this movie's playing at the drive-in, and it's clearly a Roger Corman movie, right? Because he says he's with the French police and he's not even attempting an accent. And obviously this is even this movie targets itself is before Jack Nicholson is Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, let's see.
This is before Easy Rider. This is before
Yeah.
Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, he did, let's see, Little Shop of Horrors, which is also
He did
a Roger
yep.
Corman production.
Yep.
He did, of course, The Terror.
Hey, it's another one.
He
who
got
his
with
career
the
started with
Monkees around 1968,
Okay.
and he produced Head or wrote Head, I forgot.
I don't know. I know he did The Trip, right?
Yeah.
He directed that. I don't know if that was before or after this.
I think he wrote Head, the monkey movie Head, and then Easy Rider was 1969, right?
After
Yeah,
so
and
it
he
was after
he
this.
didn't star in Easy Rider. There was Dennis Hopper. And,
No, he was supporting actor.
He was
I think he
supporting
won an Oscar for it, though. He was the the lawyer or whatever that
yeah.
travels with
So yeah,
him.
69 Jack Nicholson did Easy Rider. 70 he did 5 Easy Pieces. 71 Carnal Knowledge. And then he really started and then the 70s it really took off for him. Of course, then he became Jack Nicholson. He was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He was in what was that movie called? It's him in a sailor suit. I forget.
Him and who? The
He's-
sailor suit?
He's in a sailor costume, and he's has
A Few
mustache.
Good Men?
No, he was in that one. Yeah, 1990. But it was another
That was
one.
an army suit. That was an army
He was in
wasn't it?
another one, but yeah, he was But the 70s, of course, were huge for Jack Nicholson.
Oh, yeah.
And famous character actor Dick Miller. It's in mostly every
Love
big
the
movie
guy.
ever made.
Love
He's
the
in
guy.
Gremlins.
He's the guy that sold the Terminator the gun, or was about to sell him the guns until the Terminator said, "I ain't paying for these," and blast them through the chest. Dick Miller's great.
Dick Miller's amazing.
Yeah, he's in a ton of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's see. Okay, so he was in 68 he was in Head. He wrote produced Head. 69 was Easy Rider. 70s 5 Easy Pieces, Carnal Knowledge. The Last Detail, that was the thing I was talking about. Then he went Chinatown, Tommy, a movie called The Passenger, The Fortune. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Then 1980 he did The Shining.
Oh yeah.
And then The Postman Always Rings Twice, the remake of that. Reds, Terms of Endearment, Praise Honor, Witches of Eastwick, Broadcast News, Batman. It was just hits kept coming and coming. But that was the start of Jack Nicholson's rise to fame.
He's the male actor with the most Oscar nominations in the history of the Academy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Anyway, enough of Jack Nicholson. So yeah, the
I
talking.
know.
Yeah.
He's so tertiary to this whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're talking about his movie, and he's saying like, I don't want to do this anymore. So he's like, I'm quitting. And then there's like,
And he's even reneging on he was gonna do like
appearance.
an appearance at a drive-in of this movie the
Yeah.
next night, and he says, "No, I'm not gonna do that."
Yeah.
Which leaves his secretary or his assistant rather, like Tizzy, as well as the director and the producers.
Yeah.
Obviously,
And
of
the
movie.
secretary is dating Peter Bogdanovich, not in real life, but in the movie. So yeah.
What did you know about Peter Bogdanovich before this?
Not that much. He directed. Let's see. It was 19. This is his first movie, of course. And then after this, he did. I think he did The Last Picture Show.
He did.
It wasn't like right after this, but he definitely directed. Let's see. The Last Picture Show was 1971. Then it was 19. So yeah. So his filmography, Peter Bogdanovich, is August 1968. And then he did The Last Picture Show, which put him on the map with everybody. He then did a documentary called Directed by John Ford. Then What Up Doc, which is hilarious, a great comedy film, slapstick film definitely. Paper Moon, which was a huge hit. Then he did a movie called Daisy Miller. Then At Long Last Love, which was a flop, which was considered one of the worst movies ever made. I don't know if people like it now. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I know in Letterboxd it has a really high score. Like a 3.5 or something like that. Then he did a film called Nickelodeon, which is not based off the kids' channel Nickelodeon.
Yes, I do remember you mentioning it to me before.
Yeah. I have no idea what St. Jack is. They all laughed. I have no idea what that is. Then he did Mask, the Rocky Johnson film, or that guy's name
Rocky Dennis.
Rocky Dennis film.
It would have been great if it was about Rocky Johnson, though.
Yeah. A movie called Illegally Yours. I have no idea what that is. Texasville, which was the sequel to The Last Picture Show, which probably should not have been made. I know in 1980, he dated a woman who was like a Playboy Playmate of the Year, or was very interested in.
Damn.
A woman who was Playboy Playmate of the Year, and she was murdered. And she was the topic of the movie Star 80, and he's like he's like one of the most knowledgeable of that murder.
Damn.
Yeah, he wrote a book about it and everything. So yeah,
Wow. Never knew about that.
it's really insane. The Star 80 is like a Jack Fosse. Ever heard of him? Bob Fosse? Sorry, name not Jack. Bob Fosse.
I feel like I have.
Okay, so Bob Fosse was a famous choreographer back in the 50s and 60s. He also a very famous director. Directed Cabaret, all that jazz, all that stuff. He only directed like 4 films, but some of them are the best films you've ever seen in Hollywood. His very last film, because in the end of all that jazz, not to give it away, but it's about him dying. That's like the whole thing. But he doesn't die in real life because he wanted to die. Okay. So he decided, okay, I'm going to make a movie about a person I relate to. I relate to this serial killer who murdered a Playboy Playmate. So he made Star 80, which is a very disturbing film, which I have not seen. It stars Eric Roberts and Mary Lou Retton. No, Meryl Hemingway. I think that's the name.
Mariel Hemingway.
Mary Hemingway,
Yeah,
yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I have not watched that film. I heard it's very disturbing, and I don't think I'm ever going to watch it.
Doesn't sound great, honestly.
No, it does not sound great, no. Yeah. Let's see. Noise is Off, 1992. Then he did the thing called Love. The Cat's Meow in 2001.
You know what I knew about Peter Bogdanovich?
What?
I'd seen Paper Moon, didn't really know that was him.
Yeah.
I knew him as Dr. Elliot Kuffenberg from The Sopranos. He's in like 2 episodes, and he plays Tony Soprano's psychiatrist. And he is famously known for having brought his own... it's this mesh-wrapped water bottle on set. And during the scenes, he was directed to just take these like really awkward long sips that resulted in just these really goofy moments where Dr. Melfi, Tony's psychiatrist, would say something and he would just sit there, nod his head, and slowly pick up the water bottle and take this long, drawn-out sip, and it's become like a meme ever since. It's like the silliest thing. Like, people on Reddit about The Sopranos are always like, what is with this guy? Why does he have this water bottle? And again, apparently he just brought it with him. He showed up with it, and David Chase said, yeah, just take a sip out of it every now and then. So it kind of became a meme in itself. But like I said, I had seen Paper Moon.
Yeah.
And that was a good movie. I like Paper Moon. I have not seen The Last Picture Show. I've heard nothing but
I've
good
seen
things.
it. I don't think I was in the right mindset to watch it. I
Yeah.
just put it on one day in the morning and wasn't really paying attention that much. But
Oh, so you got to pay attention.
yeah, I got to pay attention to it.
All right,
more.
well, maybe that's
Cloris
one that-
Leachman's still amazing in it, probably.
Yeah, I know she won an Oscar for that.
Yeah.
I only know her from like Mel Brooks movies.
Yeah. It's really fascinating, her career, because like she was acting in like the 40s and 50s and stuff, but she wasn't famous. She did bit roles on TV shows and plays and stuff like that. And then around the 60s, 70s, she was in her 40s, so she started playing these roles. Like, she was in Mel Brooks films, she was in Last Picture Show, she was in Rhoda. No, sorry, she was in Mary Tyler Moore Show, and she did Phyllis. So she really gained fame in the 70s, but unfortunately she was in like she was like in her 40s, almost 50s by the end of the decade. So the only role that Hollywood knew to put her in was for kooky old ladies. So for like 40 years or 30 years, she just played kooky old ladies on TV shows and movies and stuff like that.
Was she the old lady in Beer Fest too? I think she
Yes,
was. The
yeah.
grandma, yeah.
She was in Beer Fest. She was a kooky old lady in like a bunch of movies.
Yeah, she was kind of just the kooky old lady in a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was the whole, and she loved playing it, and that's all she played for like 30 years, kooky old ladies.
Hey, if she was happy with it, then God bless,
Yeah, but she won an Oscar, because
Yeah.
nobody thought she was going to win an Oscar.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
and
think
then
that's
like
really cool.
because they were filming Mary Tyler Moore, and she still wasn't like a featured cast member yet, and she won an Oscar, and it's like, okay, guess you got to pay me more now because
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Very true.
yeah, but I don't think they did that because they put a loophole. Because guest stars don't get paid as much more as a series regular.
Of course, yeah.
So they made her a guest star most of the time, and yeah,
Gotcha.
I don't
Those
know.
Sneaky Hollywood producers.
Yeah, so I think they
That
Of
guy's
course,
a
I could
good
be wrong.
idea.
I think I forgot the video I watched.
That's okay.
But anyway, yes. Okay, so let's get back to the movie. Okay, so yeah, they watched the movie, and it's like Boris Karloff's like, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go home. I'm not going to do the appearance. And then we cut to
A gun store.
Gun store.
Yes.
And we cut to Tim O'Kelly buying gun ammo.
More specifically, it actually shows Orlok, Boris Karloff's character, in his limousine, and then all of a
yeah.
sudden it jump cuts to him in the reticle of a sniper rifle, and it turns out it's this Bobby Thompson character who's just it's an empty gun. It's not alive, not
Yeah.
a hot gun, or loaded rather, and he's just pointing it at the gun store, and he's just happens to be pointing it right at Boris Karloff's character. And from here, we are introduced to that Bobby Thompson character, who is picking up a shitload of ammunition
Yeah.
to take home. He lives with his parents and his wife.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting.
Dynamic.
Well, especially for back then. I could see now, but like in the '60s, isn't that still when it was like the whole everyone got like you could afford houses and the white picket
Maybe
fence
not. We
more
don't know really
easily?
what his job was. All we knew that he lived
He's
with
an
his
insurance
parents.
agent,
He is?
according to Wikipedia.
Okay, well, I guess it didn't pay much. His wife works also, and
Not judging. I mean,
Yeah.
California is expensive to live in. I'm
Yeah.
just curious.
I don't know. Maybe they just, I don't know exactly the
Nothing wrong with
situation.
it.
But yeah, so we meet Tim O'Kelly's character, and like we can definitely tell something's wrong with him from the beginning.
First of all, he looks like an Aryan, like
Yeah,
a
he looks like
perfect.
yeah,
Well, I won't even say that. He did have the blonde hair and probably the blue eyes, but he certainly looks like the stereotypical all-American 1960s Happy Days type of
yeah, boy,
kid,
yeah,
right?
definitely, yeah, definitely,
And
yeah,
except with a lot of guns.
yeah. And of course, we see that when he goes to his car, and when you see like a truck full of guns.
Oh yeah, this guy's ready to take on Tony Montana.
Yeah, we can tell like he's thinking about it. He's like, like maybe I shouldn't, but then there's like maybe I should.
Best case scenario, he's just a real Second Amendment enthusiast.
Yeah.
And just likes collecting guns because it's a hobby.
Yeah.
Worst case, well, we'll get to worst case scenario.
Yeah, definitely. And then we go through Tim O'Kelly's life, his character's life. Not really much. He's married to a very pretty lady, He's not on his own. He still lives with his parents. I think they get along well. They just have dinner as a regular time. And they just, he would watch TV with them. He goes to bed. His wife goes to work. He wants his wife to really listen to him or like maybe have sex. But he's just like, nah, I'm not going to do that.
Well, yeah, they have dinner, which is prepared presumably by his mother and
Yeah.
maybe his wife. And then his father at the end of dinner says, well, son, you know what? While the girls clean up, let's go out back and shoot some cans. And they go outside and they shoot a bunch of cans down. And when it's the dad's turn to go load the cans back up, he catches his son looking at him through the reticle of the rifle again and
Yeah.
says, hey, what the hell are you doing? And that's our first glimpse. Well, the first glimpse of him actually with a loaded gun.
Yeah.
And someone, and it's, that's not proper gun safety techniques,
Yeah.
obviously, to aim a loaded gun at somebody.
Yeah, it's very. Do you think it's like different from how like serial like shooters are portrayed today in media? Like, because he's not alone. He's like not a loner, but he is, I think, very depressed. He's lost in his ways. He's very bored with his life, maybe.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I think what's most scary about him is you don't know anything about him.
That's true.
He comes off as just anyone. He's a guy with a hobby. His hobby happens to be collecting guns, and all we see is that one day he starts putting the reticle of a gun over other people's bodies and faces, and from there on, I think those are the first dominoes.
Yeah.
Pointing the one at Karloff and then the one at his dad with the actual ammunition loaded. And from there, there's no talk about if he heard voices per se.
No.
There's no talk about him being bullied or, having a grudge against society.
Yeah, against his parents, about his wife or anything. All we get is like one little bit of dialogue. It's like you don't listen to me, do you? Like, you don't take me seriously. And she's like, no, I do. Like, come on.
Yep, and we see that when they're all done watching television for the night, his parents and his wife go up to bed and he stays downstairs. Is that when he writes the note?
No, he writes the notes the morning.
That's right, because his wife walks in on him writing the note, right?
Yeah.
So he's, And I think it just cuts to that, or do we go back to the director or the actor first?
We do. We cut back to him. Boris Karloff is in his dressing room. He's talking to his secretary, played by Nancy Hsu, he's getting drunk. He's just like, I'm tired.
He is shit-faced, and she is berating him.
It's like, come on, like, why are you doing this?
Well, like, even if you don't want to be part of the next pictures, you can't renege on this offer to go help out this little drive-through, right?
Yeah.
It's such a nice little appearance, and she's berating him, and then who comes to the door is none other than, what the heck's his name in this movie? Sammy Michaels, played again by Peter Bogdanovich.
Yeah.
This is the director of the latest movie. And he also has a script that is hanging in the balance. The studio will produce his script only if Boris Karloff, Byron Orlock, agrees to star in it.
And I believe that's also the scene where they get drunk and they watch the Howard Hawks film.
That's a lovely scene.
That's a lovely scene. Like, I used to be taken seriously.
Oh, they're so shit-faced. I love it. And what I like about Bogdanovich's character is he doesn't come off as like, hey, man, he understands Orlock's point of view.
Yeah.
Like, he knows that he's a little bit screwed, or at least this current project that he's trying to get off the ground is dead on arrival if he doesn't get Orlock's participation. But he also understands, as a fellow artist, that it's important to, take your work seriously and to have self-respect with your work.
Yeah.
Right?
And he says, like, this script is going to have it, and then he keeps on getting drunk with them, and then...
And it really is a great scene, because then they end up in the same bed.
Yeah, they just, like, passed out. Yeah.
Well, I think, Karloff says, you can sleep on the couch, and Bogdanovich drunkenly just climbs onto the guy's bed anyway. And Boris Karloff's like, no, the couch. And Bogdanovich just out, and so he's just, whatever, and gets into bed next to him, and it is pretty funny. Mm-hmm. And then I think maybe we go to regardless.
Yeah, then we go to the first shooting scene, where he begins writing the note.
Correct.
What does the note say exactly?
The note says, and this is so horrifying, I just killed my wife and mother. I know they'll get me, but before that, many more will die.
Yeah, then he shoots his mom. Then he shoots his mom first, or his girlfriend
I think
first?
his wife first, who walked into the room.
Yeah, he shoots her first, then he shoots his mother, and then...
A delivery guy that...
Then the delivery guy just there, and then he hides the bodies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hides them, so that his...
Not a great job, hiding the bodies. He probably he puts them in the room, and he tries to clean up, but, it's probably not the best job.
Right. Realizes, oh, shit, there's a lot of work to cover up,
And then he goes out. He goes out to buy way more ammo to the store.
Same story was at earlier.
Yeah. I put the name of the movies on the sign in the store. It says Targets.
Oh, did it? I didn't even catch that.
Mm-hmm.
Outstanding.
On my notes. Yeah. I also put there's no music. It's all diegetic sound.
Yes.
I think that's what they call diegetic sound. It's all all the music, all the things you hear in the universe of the movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Which just adds to the realism of it.
Yeah, definitely.
This is not a movie that's meant to be at all, fantasy. It's very grounded.
Yeah.
And all the more scary for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He goes to buy some more ammunition, of course, and tells the shopkeep, put it on my dad's tab.
Yeah.
Shopkeep obliges and asks, what are you hunting? And he says, gonna shoot some pigs.
Eesh.
which is a real red flag. First of all,
Yeah.
obviously it's, no mistake that they use the word pigs to describe the general populace. So obviously this guy, I think, has some kind of grudge against society, whether or not he knows why. I think that's the case, if you're going to call human beings pigs. Mm-hmm. And second of all, isn't that do people hunt pigs?
Not really.
A boar, maybe.
Yeah.
But that was kind of weird, I thought. Like, the
Yeah.
shopkeep didn't think, what, are you going to release a bunch of domesticated pigs into a field? That's not very sporting.
Yeah. And then do we cut back, then after that scene, do we cut back to the hotel room?
I think that's when they go back to...
Yeah, and that's when they
hotel
find
room.
out the program with the DJ and stuff. And
Yeah, that's when Boris Karloff has a bit of a change of heart. He's still not on board with doing the new movie, but he says he'll meet his obligation to the drive-in.
Yeah.
And he will
Yeah.
then depart for England.
Yeah, he meets with
afterward.
the groovy DJ who's like, groovy, man. Really dig your films.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that guy.
love that guy. He was great. And then, so that's like kind of the end of the Boris Karloff kind of tale, because that's not, I mean, it's a little
now,
bit important, but, like, for the whole thing. All right, so then we cut to Tim O'Kelly's character. He, in the first scene of the film, or when we first see him, he passes by like a oil refinery,
yeah.
or something like that.
Oil storage unit. That's
Oil
what it
storage
is.
unit. He has a PB&J. He has a Coke, and
God,
he has a Baby Ruth bar.
Yeah.
And I believe he goes onto the highest building he could find, and begins shooting down into the freeway, and is shooting cars at random. Mm-hmm. It's really terrifying to seeing this man. It's kind of like he's enjoying his day. He's having a soda, having a snack.
It's so mundane.
And
that's
he's just
where the horror comes from.
He's just popping people off on the freeway. Mm-hmm. It's just random strangers. They don't know. He's just waiting to see who he can shoot.
There's no dramatic music. There's no suspense in terms of you're not ever with the point of view of the victims. You're always with the point of view of the killer. So it provides this level of just this is literally what this kind of shooting would look like, and what it would sound like, and what it would feel like. The guy literally brings, it's like his work. He brings a lunch, a brown paper bag lunch, and a Coke, and he sits there snacking on it and drinking his Coca-Cola with no music around, no other ambiance except for his gun firing.
Yeah.
And that is what's so scary about that scene. It's just the mundanity of it.
Yeah. And when he runs out, when he gets bored with one gun, he just grabs another one, see if he can shoot more people with it.
Right.
And it's really disturbing. Nobody stops because nobody thinks
it's no different than you or I mowing our lawn or just going for a walk around the neighborhood. It's just...
And nobody really called the cops because nobody expects a guy to be in
Well, no one's got cell phones.
No one's got cell phones, 1968, but nobody expects a guy to just be shooting people off the freeways, just shooting their cars, making them go off
right.
the road.
There's no
and
rhyme
stuff
or
that.
reason to it. That's another reason why it's so scary. And God help us, it's really made even scarier by the fact that this is a very modern problem still.
Yeah.
Right? Contemporary problem. It's this, these highway shootings in particular, I think have aged very well, and not enough. Obviously, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's all just like another day at the office, and it's only interrupted when an oil refinery worker, and I always say oil refinery, I don't know what the fuck it holds oil, I know that. When one of the workers, though, shows up and climbs up to the tank, and then, again, because we're not yet in this American climate where you have to worry about weirdos with guns, he very stupidly says, "Hey, what are you doing?" to this maniac that's got 6 guns on him. And he gets shot.
And he loses some of his guns. It's crazy to think, the reason he stopped wasn't because he got caught. The reason he stopped, he ran out of guns. Mm-hmm. Each one either fell somewhere or he lost them. So he's just
back to my trunk full of guns. And by that point, the police are onto him, and he hears the sirens. So he engages them in a chase, right?
Yeah.
And he does manage to beat them in the chase through the suburbs because it's his neighborhood.
Yeah.
So he knew his way around, and he ends up at a drive-in movie theater at twilight time. It's starting to get a little dark.
And he just waits.
He's just
That's
true. It was daylight when he gets there.
Yeah, he just waits. He's just enjoying his day,
Yeah, the drive-in with 2 cars there right now is a
he
great
probably
place
had
for
a popcorn or a soda and something and waited, and then this is the big action. I hate to say big action, but this is the big climax that happens. So everybody comes in, they start watching a movie, and he decides to climb up. He found a door that leads up to the actual stage of where the screen is. He punched a little hole inside the screen, and then he just starts firing. And it's just mayhem, because soon, when he first starts firing, nobody knows what's going on.
Well, right, those drive-ins, you have that speaker right in your car.
Right in your car.
A lot of times you can't hear other stuff going on outside.
No, so you don't know what's going on. He's killing people. One guy he killed in the
Phone booth.
He killed the projectionist first, I think. One of the projectionists. Then he killed a couple in a car. But then once he started killing people in the cars, people started to notice, like, there's a shooter out there.
Right.
Stay low.
Right.
And it just becomes a mayhem. Everybody's trying to get out. People still don't know what's going on.
Meanwhile, Byron Orlock actually comes there in his limo and is greeted by the manager of the place. And he settles in. And again, because this is not an era where such a thing is commonplace, like, you know, if you were to hear a single gunshot in a movie theater, I think people would automatically get the picture.
Sure.
Nowadays, again, because everyone's got that little speaker there, and it's the last thing on anybody's mind.
Yeah, and he's far away, too. He's up in a high place.
There's no cell phones. There's no way to communicate immediately to people around you or to the police what's going on.
Yeah.
This is just such a horror-filled scene. Again, and
you've seen loved ones die.
Correct.
There's this one scene where you see a kid next to his father, and you see his father's dead. But then the camera pans away from the kid, but you hear another gunshot go through the window, and you know he shot the kid. Yeah. So it's just like...
Oh, yeah. And again, no music to back it other than the sounds of the movie, The Terror, playing.
Yeah. Whatever that movie was. I think, was it The Terror?
I think that was The Terror. That was the one, at least, because that was the scene with Jack Nicholson in it.
Okay, yeah.
Playing a French policeman with no accent.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's the same as with the other shooting scene. It's just... It's horror because it's senseless, because there's no backdrop to it.
It just showed the fear in mass hysteria because they're trying to get out. The people don't know what's going on. The people who work there don't know what's going on until later on. The guy's still shooting people. The people in the drive-thru know that there's a shooter out there, and they try to find him, but they're still shooting people. And so, you know, until like the manager finds out, it's like, you gotta stop projection. You gotta stop it. And then they go in, they find the dead body of a projectionist, and it's just like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and he's not even stopped until Byron Orlock himself happens to be, you know, saying to himself basically, what's all this commotion? And he sets off even though his secretary is fired on. Yeah. And so he has an idea where these bullets are coming from. So he kind of sneaks around the screen, right? And he ends up coming face to face with Bobby.
And Bobby, let's say Bobby was still shooting, but he lost all his guns. All his guns are gone. So they fell off the stage, or they fell off the platform where he was from behind the screen, and he couldn't reach them anymore. So he just ran out of guns. He just ran out of ammunition, and he kept on firing no matter what. When he went down out from behind the screen, and he kept on firing. But then Boris Karloff, he just came in, and it was just like, because we forgot to mention that Boris Karloff was like when he had his existential crisis, he was just like, are people afraid of me? Like, look what's going on in the world. People are dying and stuff like that. Am I even working?
Well, right. Yeah. All right. He didn't like the idea of his movies being laughed at. He thought that the horrors of the real world were way too intense, that his movies didn't scare people anymore. And so what was his purpose? He didn't feel a purpose anymore. Yeah. And here he is, and, you know, even if Bobby didn't have any ammunition left, Karloff's the one that meets him face to face, pulls the last physical gun away from him, and police subdue him. Yeah. And Boris Karloff, Byron Orlock's character, says when he does that, and he looks into the face of this kid, he says, "So that's what I was afraid of?" And in that moment, that's when he realizes why his movies are important. And that's when he finds his renewed purpose. It's not, he's not going to go fight crime per se, but it's the horrors of the real world are that intense. They are that terrible. They are that arbitrary and random and horrifying, that the general public needs these movies, even if they're campy and goofy, and you see things on wires and strings. That adds to the charm. It's escapism, and that's what he does. That's what he does for society.
That's true. Yeah.
And I think that was a very powerful ending, and it ends obviously with the police taking Bobby away and him saying, "I hardly missed." Yeah.
So Bobby, like when he meets Boris Karloff, I don't know I forget. Does Karloff slap him just once? Slap him once, and then Bobby just goes into like a state of fear.
He's like a child.
He's like a child, and it's like he's crying and everything.
He reverts
and then,
to a child.
Then right when he gets arrested, he's like, I don't miss.
Which may take it as you will, if it's a commentary on someone with a gun. At the end of the day, when you take the gun away, what are they? Yeah.
Nothing but a scared child.
And let me be clear, too. I am not anti-gun, and this movie's not anti-gun.
No.
This movie is just pro... I don't even know what I'd say. It's not really pro-mental health care. I mean, obviously, I would assume it is deep down, but it's not like there's no themes about taking care of mental health. Again, but the reason this kid snaps and does what he does is never really explained.
No.
And I think that's what's so powerful. This movie is just a snapshot of a 2-day time span, wherein someone finds a renewed purpose in life, and someone finds that their purpose in life is to cause utter chaos and throw their own freedom away.
Yeah.
And again, it's not, there's no agenda in this
Yeah, there's
movie.
no message. There's just a man showing that, I don't know, maybe it's the message is that anybody could just break at any moment.
That's possible. That's possibly true. I would also argue that this movie is, if anything, pro-gun safety. Bobby gets chastised by his father. What the hell are you doing aiming that at me? So again, not anti-gun, and I think that's important to note. But at the end of the day, when the kid loses his precious firearms, he's nothing. He's a little bitch.
Yeah, he's a little bitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the movie.
Being slapped by Boris Karloff.
Yeah, and that's the whole movie.
That's the whole movie.
Yeah, it's very just straightforward.
It is.
Straightforward tale. There's no ifs, ands about it.
It is. And some of the movies we watched for this podcast, after some of them anyway, where it requires a little more scrutiny to the plot, I appreciated it. I appreciated just very straightforward snapshot type of movie with some really great interactions between characters.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, so yeah, that was the movie. I guess we'll go into our final thoughts now about the movie itself. So I've never heard of this movie before watching it. When I looked up cult films, I saw this was on it, and this, lo and behold, this is Peter Bogdanovan's first film. I would say this is a great debut for any director. This movie is terrifying, and just how the bleakness of it all is, and it interested me. I was a little bit weirded out in the beginning when I saw the Hammer-style horror stuff. I was like, what's going on? But after a while, I would say the Boris Karloff stuff, it is good, but the Tim O'Kelly stuff is stronger. I understand the message he was trying to do, but I feel like after a while the Boris Karloff stuff kind of lost its edge and its meaning, and then once it started going into the actual killing, then it became more cohesive. If I'm making any sense at all.
Sure.
So in my opinion, I say this is a great film, a really good film. I would give it 4 out of 6 stars. I would definitely watch this movie again because it actually is really terrifying. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very good. Man, this movie, it's raw, it's real, and it is horrifying.
It is.
And it's a movie that gets scares not by making you jump, not by, having music that makes your skin crawl, but things like juxtaposing a campy Roger Corman horror movie with an actual live shooter situation.
Yeah.
And I think that I liked both stories. Both stories worked very well for me. Mm-hmm. One is someone finding their value in their life's later work, and the other one is just this brutal, uncompromising, non-sugar-coated look at what I would consider the most devastating, inexplicable form of domestic terrorism outside of a mass bombing or something.
Yeah.
I mean, just the idea that you could be out and about, enjoying your life, enjoying, whatever.
Yeah.
And something like this could happen. I mean, it's just a random act of violence, and while the odds are heavily for us that it will not happen to us, I mean, geez, look at the news every
week, every month.
You get some crazy stories.
Yeah.
I think, how do I put this? Should people see this movie? I really don't know. Mm-hmm. But truthfully, I think it's outstanding.
Yeah.
I thought both stories were excellent, and the way that they meet in a V, I would call it a V shape at the end, I thought was so well done. I thought the casting of a horror, a movie legend.
The Boris Karloff casting was amazing.
Right.
That was
you have this movie
by,
legend on one side.
Yeah.
And then you have this unknown Tim O'Kelly on the other side, which I think was perfect. I think that was perfect. If you put a big name in this role of an all-American person who's just supposed to be a face in the sea of Americans, then it wouldn't work. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they did a nobody and then a veteran, heavy-hitting Hollywood star in these two roles that eventually, these two stories that converge, I thought it was perfect. I think the epiphany that Byron comes to at the end of the movie is perfect. I think a lot of this movie is just so well done, and even the brief scenes of levity that we get from the hotel, Bogdanovich and Karloff drinking together and joking, lines like, how can I eat on an empty stomach?
Yeah.
Those worked for me because you needed a little comic relief, right?
Yeah.
Long story short, again, I don't know if I could recommend this for everybody. There are certainly people out there who do not have the sensibilities to want to watch a movie like this because it's so grounded and so real. To me, though, I give this a 6 out of 6.
Wow.
I can't really complain about a thing in this movie.
That was really good. Wow.
It's a very concise movie. It's short.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's something that if you are interested in just like film as a snapshot, I guess, as I keep saying, I highly recommend it. Yeah. But again, I can't recommend it for the masses. But I can't find a complaint in it. Now, will this guarantee that it's going to be number one in the rankings at the end of the season? Not necessarily.
True.
Again, the ratings are just basically how much I can bitch about something. I got nothing to bitch about with this movie.
Yeah.
Very much enjoyed it. As horrifying as it was just very effective.
Yeah.
So
I definitely agree with all that. Definitely.
I got to say.
Yeah. Maybe I'll raise my score when it comes to the final rankings. I can raise it a little bit, but...
You made valid points.
Yeah, definitely.
You made valid points. As long as, you watched it instead of giving it the treatment that you gave the Last Picture Show.
I did not give it the treatment I gave the Last Picture Show. Okay,
that's all that matters.
These are my notes I took while watching the movie. When I first watched it, I put Castle Freak.
I've actually seen Castle Freak.
Yeah.
If you have access to Castle Freak, watch it.
Yeah, I put Castle Freak. It has nothing to do with the movie, actually shown in the movie. But I just thought, this is about Castle Freak.
If I remember correctly, and it's been some time, but it's about a group of people that stays at a castle, and there's literally a castle freak in it that stalks and terrorizes them.
And you see his dick.
You do see his cock, yes.
Yeah, I know that, I put not a lot of music. We talked about that. Couldn't eat on an empty stomach. Wrote that line down.
Great line.
Quiet, all diegetic. The name of the movie is a sign in the gun store. It says Targets.
Nice.
Yes. Always high five for that.
But not a Target department store in sight.
No, not one. No, not one. Babe Ruth, the candy bar. I think I was thinking of that movie Goonies when I was supposed to say Baby Ruth.
Yeah, classic.
I wrote groovy. I guess because of the DJ.
Yeah, he did say the word groovy.
And then I wrote littering. This guy kills a bunch of people and he litters? What a terrible person.
That was fucked up.
That was fucked up. That's terrible.
Can't be littering people.
Yeah. And that's all the notes I took. That's it.
Hey, that's all. That's all you need, man. This movie's not, this movie's not like super deep or anything.
No.
So it's nice. You don't have to think too hard about what it's trying to say. It's just a story of two people on two different days, over a 2-day span meeting.
Okay, so that was our opinion. Do you want to hear everybody else's opinion, TJ?
Sure.
Let's go to Ebert. Ebert time. 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 Okay, so Roger Ebert gave this film 2.5 stars. Not really
4 or 5 again.
Out of
I always forget.
4, I think. I think he does out of 4 stars.
Okay.
I think.
No, you're probably right.
Yeah. He says, quote, Target isn't a very good film, but it is an interesting one. Its basic problem, I suppose, comes from a rather mechanical wedding between two stories that have little to do with one another.
I think that's a strength, but whatever, Mr. Ebert.
Then he continues to say, Bogdanovich's method, then, is going to be simple. He wants iconic contrast between kind, rather than weary horror actor, and the real horror of a kid who becomes a sniper. Problem is that most call-up scenes aren't really necessary. I expect a movie limited to a sniper story would have been more direct and effective.
He's not wrong. I will say he's not wrong, but personally, me as like a fan of anthology storytelling, I kind of like the fact that they're unrelated until because that's how life is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You come across thousands of people. You know what I mean? You come across thousands of people over the course of your life or whatever, and you have no idea what background they have. And to me, that just added to the realism of it all. These two very different stories, because we all have different stories.
Yeah. He then goes on to say, the suggestion is that the sniper can't tell illusions from reality. His victims were perhaps no more real than the movie people. Tin cans used as targets. The film is being advertised as some sort of moral statement about gun control. It isn't, but it is effective in places, and Bogdanovich shows the promise of being ready to make a whole movie all at once. And that's mostly it. Yeah.
Hey, I respect him.
Yeah. So Egypt, not the biggest fan of this, so...
That's all right.
Yeah. I don't know about the rest of Peter Bogdanovich's filmography. I don't know if he hates him like David Lynch.
There's no way.
Yeah.
He had a thing. He had a vendetta against David Lynch.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but, Not the biggest fan of this film, but
That's
2.5 stars, so he gives it an okay.
Right on.
Right on. Letterboxd for this film, 3.9 stars. It's almost 4 stars.
Okay.
Really cool. I love these reviews. One was said by Bailey, 5 stars and a like. Falling Down, if Falling Down was actually good.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. One was by Matt, 4 stars and a like. It says, hey, your boy's fucking call off. Don't you forget it.
Outstanding.
That's it. And the last one was by Laird, Laird, 4.5 stars and a like. I hate 3D movies. Patron leaving the Reseda Drive-In. And that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Sounds good.
I hate 3D movies. Quote from a person leaving the Reseda Drive-In.
Man, is it?
4.5 stars.
Everybody deserves to have their opinion out on the internet.
That's it.
Love it.
Love it. Okay, so yeah, that's the majority of not the majority of what people thought about it, but that's what some people thought about it. Let's go to the awards section. This was nominated for nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay.
Not one thing. No.
I'm not surprised. I feel like this was not an art house, but
This
I don't know.
probably was released to like maybe, 100 theaters or
Limited
something like that.
release.
Yeah, limited
like that,
release,
for
yeah.
sure.
So the Oscars for that year, 1968, of the films of 1968, was Oliver, Funny Girl, The Lion in Winter, Rachel, and Romeo and Juliet. Not the strongest year for Oscar attention. Because I don't know if Oliver still fucking rips, but people fucking loved Oliver.
They did.
Yeah.
They sure did.
It was like bangers after banger. Oliver.
I never saw it.
Me neither, no. It's probably one of the most forgotten Best Pictures winner.
We'll address it one day.
You'll address it one day. Funny Girl, the only one I can remember, that was the Barbra Streisand movie. Mm-hmm. Rachel was a Paul Newman movie. I forget what it was about. And of course I know Romeo and Juliet. I think I watched that in like the 9th grade or something for class.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have no fucking idea what the hell The Lion in Winter is. No idea.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is some obscure
Not the most
here.
memorable movies years of 1968.
Yeah.
The top 10 films of 1968 was Funny Girl, number 1. Number 2, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Number 3, The Odd Couple.
Love it. Nice.
Number 4, Bullet. Number 5, Oliver.
Nice.
Can I have some more, please? More. And that's it.
You have to sing it though, isn't it a musical?
I don't think it was part of the musical number though. So
Oh,
I
that's
think
too
it counts.
bad.
Yeah. Number 6, Planet of the Apes. Damn you! Damn you all to hell!
Classic.
Classic. Number 7, Rosemary's Baby. Number 8, Romeo and Juliet. Number 9, I should say. Number 9. No, number 9. That's it. Number 9 is Your, Mine, and Ours. A movie about a man and a woman who have like, one has 10 kids, the other one has 10 kids, and they get married and become a family.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brady Bunch has nothing on that.
True, yeah. Starring, what's her name? I Love Lucy. Lucille Ball. Yeah, starring Lucille Ball.
Cool.
And 10 was The Lion in Winter.
So at least with the top 10, there's at least some recognizable names. Like the Oscar nominees were kind of duds this year,
Yeah.
at least in terms of memorability today.
True. The only memorable films are probably, like, Oliver. And that's not even that memorable, because nobody gives a shit about late 60s musicals, really.
Right.
Because that was when they were dying, so... And, like, the only one I can really think of people really watch is Funny Girl. That's mostly Barbra Streisand. So, yeah. But, yeah, Rachel hasn't lasted the test of time. The Lion in Winter, no idea. And, of course, Romeo and Juliet only lasted the test of time because it's a movie. And that's not even the most famous theatrical adaptation to it. The one from 1996 is more memorable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly more modern anyway, of course.
Definitely. Yeah, so those were the films of 1968. I guess we're going to the fun facts about this film. By the time of the film was made, Boris Karloff was 80 years old. He was in very poor health. He was suffering from emphysema, along with rheumatoid arthritis. He only had half of one lung and spent the between takes in a wheelchair with oxygen mask on. He wore braces on both his legs. He had difficulty standing or walking without a cane. The weakness of his legs is visible in some parts of the film. But unfortunately, he lived long enough to see the completion of the film and enjoyed the accolades he deserved.
Jesus Christ, though, that's brutal.
Yeah, I think he died like maybe 5 years after this, in like 1972 or something like that.
I know he died shortly after this.
Yeah.
But How did he pass? Did they not give actors physicals back then?
Yeah, the Hollywood system
Jesus.
was really fucked up, especially
Probably
for old
didn't.
people. Yeah, so
Damn. Okay.
yeah. Roger Corman told director Peter Bogdanovich he could make any film he wanted to on 2 conditions. 1, he had to use stock footage from the film The Terror. And 2, he had to hire Boris Karloff for 2 days because he was under contract for Corman for 2 days. Yes. But Karloff was so impressed with the script of the film, he refused to pay for any shooting time over his 2-day contract.
Sucker.
And he worked a total of 5 days.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice of him.
You see, the film includes extracts from The Terror, of course, another Roger Corman film. And he suggested that Peter Bogdanovich use the little-known actor who appears opposite Boris Karloff in the film, perhaps as well as the killer, but Bogdanovich turned down his idea. And that young actor was one young Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson as a deranged killer? I don't see it.
Okay.
Don't see it.
Don't see it.
That would have been a wild, different. That's for a different universe.
Different universe. Oh, yeah. The freeway shooting scene in the film was stolen, meaning they were done without permits. They used walkie-talkies to communicate with the cast and crew on the freeway to make them tell them when they get shot. There were 2 camera lenses used. One was a telephone's lens and one was a wide-angle lens. The last shot that was done with a woman trying to run away as police were being called. As someone saw her fall, the protection tube bugged out before they arrived. Someone actually did.
I love this.
Someone called the cops. Really.
This is outstanding.
Yeah.
So some actual bystanders are watching these people run out of their cars pretending to be shot and abruptly stop their cars and swerve.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. Because
Yeah.
I even had in my notes, this highway scene looks so real that it's terrifying because of it. And I think that's even funnier that they just did it without permits.
They did it without permits.
Quick. That is so
That's
Roger
Corman,
Corman,
man.
That is such a Roger Corman thing,
yeah.
and I love it. That's like Ed Wood, Roger Corman, absolutely.
Yeah. And last bit of film knowledge is director Peter Bogdanovich's plan to have Boris Karloff appear in the film for 20 minutes with 2 days of filming and have stock footage of The Terror for another 20 minutes for screen time. But in the final film, Karloff is actually on screen for 30 minutes and shot all of his scenes in 5 days.
All right.
Yeah, so that's nice of him.
Solid.
Yeah. So
Well, thank you for that bit of trivia.
Thank you. You're welcome. So that was everything about Targets. I
Yeah.
hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to watch it again, please do. And tell us how you liked it. Just shout it in our faces. Go on our Twitter. Go on our Facebook. Shout at us. If you see me out in the street, just yell, "I like Targets!" or "I hate Targets!" And that's it.
That's all you have to say.
That's all you have to do. Yeah.
So.
You don't have to say hi or anything. If I'm in a crowd, you can just say that, and that's it.
And stop throwing batteries at us.
Yeah, please stop. They really hurt.
They really do. Those
They really
bees,
hurt.
those
Yeah.
bees will really fuck you up.
Any bruises everywhere. Okay, so that was it. TJ, do you have the final thing for us?
The final thing.
The final thing.
Yes. The final thing. So a few months ago, we did a Getting to Know Me segment.
Yes.
Because I am so fucking interesting.
Yes, you are.
So we're going to do another one. It was supposed to be your turn, but,
I didn't do it.
keep forgetting.
I didn't do it.
This one's a little less embarrassing, luckily. So, if you're not embarrassed, if you came here to listen to something embarrassing about me or scandalous about me, you can stop now if you really want. But otherwise, to our true believers, our true listeners, stick by. I'm going to read out 3 facts, quote unquote, and you have to tell me which one of them about me is true.
Okay.
All right? You know what, I said this wasn't embarrassing, but actually this one is completely embarrassing. But you know how we all kind of have like our comfort food television or just something that we compulsively watch on a repeat basis?
Yeah.
For like some people will watch the Star Wars movies, once a quarter basically.
Yeah.
Or twice a year. I have mine. My shows and stuff that I just routinely return to because it's comfort food. So that's what this one concerns. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so the first one is, at least once a year, I compulsively watch through the entirety of the live-action Planet of the Apes series. That is 14 episodes. Okay? Second one, at least once a year, I compulsively watch through the entirety of the Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. And for some context, the Planet of the Apes series was from the 70s.
Yeah.
And basically had the aesthetic of the original movie.
Do you watch all the films from the 70s and now, or do you just watch the films from the 70s?
I'm sorry, like nowadays?
Yeah, do you watch like the 1970s
Oh, I'm talking
ones?
about the television series.
Oh, the television
Oh,
series.
I should have. Let me rephrase this. Okay,
Okay.
so that's the first one is that at least once a year, I compulsively watch through the entirety of the live-action Planet of the Apes 1970s television series. To be clear, yes.
Okay.
The second one was at least once a year, I compulsively watch through the entirety of The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., which was a brilliant mix of Western and sci-fi that ran in the 90s.
Oh, great.
And it starred the one and only Bruce Campbell,
Yep.
and it was canceled
Abruptly.
by the damn
Fox
was
Corporation.
it Fox?
It's
Yeah,
always fucking Fox.
Oh, goddamn Fox. And they'll let so much garbage go through.
Yeah.
And this show was actually good, something fresh, and
Yeah.
they axed it. I digress. Or 3, at least once a year, I compulsively watch through the entirety of Star Trek: The Animated Series.
From the 1970s? The other one?
That was from the 1970s, before the motion picture.
Okay.
It kind of
I
revived
know
interest.
you own The Adventures of Briscoe County on DVD. You definitely lent it to me once. But you could have multiple things also. You can probably find
It's the only DVD I own.
yeah, it's the only one you own. Yeah. But you can probably find the Planet of the Apes online, or maybe you have a DVD of it. I just didn't realize it. Also, maybe you have a DVD of the animated series. But I'm gonna go with Briscoe County.
That is a great guess, my friend. But no, actually.
Wow.
I compulsively, once a year, and it's always Christmas time, I always watch the Planet of the Apes television series. Why? I have no idea. It started in high school. It was really bizarre. I remember my dad got the box set of the TV show.
Yeah.
14 episodes, a show that, obviously only lasted one season. And he got it like the day I started like winter break. And that's like
Yeah.
the best time of year when you're a
True.
kid, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, hell, I'll watch that because I loved the movies. I was a big fan of the 5 original movies.
Yeah.
And the new ones. I like the new ones a lot. Tim Burton one is not canon. That doesn't exist. Not in my head canon. But I started watching that first day, and I kind of like did like a 12 Days of Christmas thing, but instead was 14. And it's just become a tradition every year.
Wow.
I borrow those DVDs from him, and I just watch. At this point, it's like while I'm doing other things. It's just
Yeah.
on in the background while I'm wrapping Christmas gifts.
Do you somehow like subconsciously know every line of the
Dude, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking since my freshman year of high school.
Wow.
Yes, we're talking like this is like I need help.
You're probably the only person to actually still watch the
Probably.
Yeah.
But you know what is pretty awesome? I actually found, I don't think it's got like quite the cult following, obviously, as a Briscoe County Jr.
Yeah.
But there is a podcast devoted to that show. Every episode of it, they break down every single episode of
Wow.
the series. And I thought that was awesome.
That's cool.
Because it deserves to be a cult show. It's not like great, but it's really funny, like and campy in
Yeah.
retrospect.
Is it like a 1960s like children's TV show? Not like the
Yeah.
theme, but
Oh,
is it
yeah.
like a kind of like a that's how it looks, like a 1960s
Pretty much.
TV show?
Oh, yeah. I love the aesthetic of that era. It's got like the makeup effects from the movies of that
that's good.
time, so they look good. It's got Mark Leonard as the bad guy, General Urko, who's always chasing them. He's the guerrilla captain. And Mark Leonard, I love him. He played Sarek, who is Spock's father on Star Trek. He also played a Klingon in Star Trek The Motion Picture and a Romulan in one of the famous early Star Trek episodes. I've never seen this man play a human, ever. And I love that about him.
That's cool.
But it's one of those just goofy, like you'd think it'd be serialized, right? Where like
Yeah.
it's one long story, and it kind of is about them trying to get back to their time.
Yeah.
But each episode, it's like they arrive in a new village of humans and they try and fit in while the apes try and track them down. And they like are so smart. In one episode, they cure malaria. Like they discover the cure for malaria and figure all that out, or they build a computer. It's ridiculous.
That's cool.
So Gilligan's Island-esque in a way.
That's cool. Okay.
I don't know. I went on way too long about that. No one's interested. We have no listeners. But I compulsively watch it every year.
That's cool. I don't watch anything compulsively every year. I don't know. I have nothing cool like that. I don't.
I should rewatch Briscoe County Jr. That's a great
So
show.
fucking good.
It is a great
God,
show,
so
man.
good. Why they cancel
Fucking
it?
Fox.
God damn it.
Dude, they could revive that now.
They could revive it.
Why
You
not?
know, maybe Bruce Campbell could still be. I don't know.
Dude, why the fuck not? You could come up with something. There's science fiction involved there. You
I
can
don't know.
come up
But
with
we're still waiting for Firefly, so that hasn't happened yet. So
Yeah,
that's
good point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Okay. What's your
All
next
right.
question, TJ?
Oh, that was it.
That was it?
Oh, just one, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, just one. Just
Okay.
a little bite-sized.
So that was the final thing.
The final
The
thing.
final thing. The final thing.
It's the final thing.
That's all we can say. That counts as parody. So Yeah. So that was the final thing. And now it's time for the real final thing, which is to spin the wheel.
The real final thing.
The real final thing. The real final thing.
We got what, 2 of these left?
2 of these left. We got 10 and altered states.
Oh boy.
Let's see where we go, baby. Let's spin this, baby. We are spinning, and we have altered states.
Altered states.
You ready to see some fucked up shit? Ken Russell is a madman, so
Oh, boy.
cannot wait. For those who want to watch it with us, I believe it is on the Criterion Channel now. I think it's readily available. I think it's the most readily available Ken Russell film, so you can probably get it anywhere on like Amazon or on. I don't think it's on Netflix, but Amazon, Hulu, like anywhere like that. Yeah, but I'm excited about that. I heard it's really messed up. Ken Russell films are. I think I'm gonna watch some more of his films because he has this movie called The Devils, which is really one of the most messed up films ever made. So I'm actually really excited.
Looking forward to it.
Definitely. Okay, so that is it for us. If you like us, please like, follow, subscribe, do whatever you need to do to listen to this podcast. If you're on the moon, figure out a fucking way, okay? You're on the moon.
Owe it to us.
Yeah, it's your fucking fault you're on the moon, okay?
Stupid ass.
Yeah. Okay? Yeah, so follow us, like us, subscribe to us. Follow us. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're on SoundCloud. Hopefully more soon, but I'm not paying fucking $20 for iTunes. I'm not doing that.
No.
I'm not doing that. $20 a month? That's bullshit. I already pay enough. I ain't doing that. Okay? So find us on Spotify, okay? Or YouTube or whatever.
Please.
Yeah. You want to follow us on Twitter and on Facebook? Please do at @it_dammit. We don't post a lot there, but we will post new episodes updates, so watch out for those. And at Facebook, it's Too New to Us. That's a name page because I guess Facebook's against swearing.
Damn it.
Damn it. Son of a bitch.
You look at the trial they got going on right now, and
Yeah.
it's like, that's the least of your worries, is
True.
you saying, damn it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Just follow us on there for new episodes and stuff like that. And if TJ ever decides to post on there too, follow that.
You got it.
Yeah, you got it. Yep. We definitely need a social media manager. Maybe we can just hire your girlfriend. You think she would do it?
Maybe.
I don't know.
No, I need to do it. I just need to be better about it.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll do, at the end of the season, I'll do a big dump saying, check out the season.
Yeah.
These people got nothing better to do.
Nothing better to
idiots.
do. Idiots. Yeah. I think it's helpful we call our audience idiots. Do you think that's like a playful thing, or you think it's?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't care how they feel. Like and subscribe and write us a review.
Yeah.
What are you scared
Make
of?
us famous, damn it.
Come on.
We want to go to parties, okay? We need to be my coworkers' podcast. I think they're kicking our ass right now.
God damn it.
Damn it.
We could just kick his ass.
A coworker?
Yeah.
No, I don't think. Well, the 2 ladies and one's really scary, so.
Oh, never mind.
No, you can't do that. No. Yeah, so that's it. Hope you guys enjoy this film. This is Mo once again signing off, saying I still haven't eaten a Babe Ruth since, so I'm not a serial killer.
And I'm TJ, and I'm going to go hunt some pigs, and by that I mean eat a bunch of Jimmy Dean sausages.
Yeah. All right, see you, everybody. Here is Robert Mitchum playing us out. See ya.
Adios.
Bye.